Yeah, that's
Excuse
something
me.
like you don't like us guys we don't really think about. I remember a conversation with my roommate's girlfriend about going to the gym, and I think she said like something along the lines like it's just really intimidating when you're like a girl and you go by yourself to the gym
Mm-hmm.
because again, as you said, those guys they just tend to swarm,
Hmm.
and interactions can be awkward as hell.
Yeah, yeah, it's very intimidating for a lot of girls out there to do that. So I do give the ones props for going by
Yeah.
themselves to do it every single day.
Well,
Back when I was still in Everett and I was going to school there, it wasn't until like springtime, my second year there, I went to the gym, and the only reason why I started doing that because I had a class. There was a basketball class that was in that gym, and some of my friends who are mostly girls, they asked if I wanted to go with them too, and they would usually work out together. But like one time, I guess a lot of the girls didn't want to work out. Only one of them did, so I went with her, and we were both kind of doing our own thing. And I think eventually, I think I only went there to shoot hoops. I didn't actually like, really work out. And then she like eventually came by to me, and she didn't feel comfortable because I guess there was some guy staring at her or something like that,
no.
and I felt really bad. And so like after she told me that, I had to kind of keep an eye on her, and I think she kind of stopped working out. She just kind of was just watching me shoot hoops for a little bit because she wasn't comfortable being there. But and then like another thing that happened, like I hope like I don't like when I go that like when I was at Central, I didn't. I worked out pretty consistently. Like I was so good about even like during finals week. During finals week, all I would do was like study 10 hours a day. And I think there was a couple times during midterms or finals I didn't really work out. I just focused on studying. But I was really good about working out every single morning, Monday through Friday. I didn't really do it on the weekends too much, but I was really good at being consistent by working out an hour, half to 2 hours, and I don't really I honestly don't pay attention to like the women who are in the gym if there is any, because for
Hmm.
me, because back then I was like so like I don't know, I was so motivated to just keep having this consistent workout, so I was always focused on every workout, every rep I was doing. And I remember one time, this is crazy, this was like when this might have been like in January, or no, it had to have been during the springtime because that's kind of when I started using the gym a lot more. There's a lot of people in the gym. Everyone was like at a bench or something doing whatever. But there's this one girl. She was benching, and I think she put too much weight on because she couldn't get it above her head. Like she couldn't get the bar up. And I noticed because the only reason why I noticed she was having difficulty is because I was in the mirror doing like curls or something, and I noticed that she was struggling in the mirror. And so luckily I was able to like go and help her. But what was really shocking to me is that there was a lot of other people in that room who didn't notice that, and I was like the only one that like came to help. And so I was just that
Like, yeah,
really.
I was staring at your camel toe, and then I saw that you're like you're struggling.
Okay. Uh,
No, I don't know how long she was struggling before I helped her, but like it was just something I noticed in the corner of my eye or something.
oh.
But like yeah, it was just kind of interesting. But I guess it also shows that like guys aren't always staring at girls. I guess is another thing. And even though we can be very intimidating, I hope most girls realize that they shouldn't feel like that when they go to the gym. Because
Yeah,
most guys, I think, do go there to actually work out. I mean, obviously, there's some jerks and jockey guys who do that, who do
oh,
probably stare at girls.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then like honestly, like oh, go ahead, Max.
I was gonna say like if you go to gym, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like
Yeah.
you work
Yeah.
out in your corner. I will stay in my corner.
Hmm.
I don't care what you're doing.
Absolutely. And like also like at the same time, especially if you're single and you get to the gym and then you're going for a while and you start to get results and you notice an attractive girl look at you, it gives you a huge confidence boost. Like honestly, like that is the one thing. Like, like obviously it's not okay to be a pervert, but I mean like, sometimes you'll go to a gym and you'll see an attractive girl and like it might motivate you to go more. It's like, okay, like maybe like I want a girl like her and it'll motivate you to do better. But I mean at the same time though, I mean like whenever I first started going, I was going for my own sake because I mean, so like growing up I was always really skinny. Like from freshman year till the end of senior year, I was always in the 145, 150 pound range. And that was also because I always struggled bulking up because my blood sugar was always really high. And I tried managing it and stuff like that, but honestly, I just ate like shit. And I'd forget to take my insulin, and because my blood sugar was out of whack, it was hard for me to gain weight. And then towards the end of senior year, I remember I went to the clinic and I weighed 146 pounds, and my A1C, which in a nutshell is basically like your blood sugar average or whatever, they wanted to be at 7.0, and mine was at 10.6, which means my average blood sugar was like almost 300, which is insanely high. And and I felt like shit that whole year, and it was because I wasn't taking care of myself. It's my fault. But and then they adjusted my insulin intake, and I started eating 3 meals a day, and I started working. I'm like I had weight training. Yeah, Fisher, did you have strength training with me with Mr. Frank?
I did have
year?
him sophomore and senior year I had him. So yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were in that class with me. Yeah, and then like the last month, I went from weighing 146 to 164. I gained almost 20 pounds just because I was eating more and working out. I was eating steak for dinner like 4 or 5 days a week.
Ooh,
and then
I'm
going
jealous.
into and then when graduation came, I weighed 167 pounds, which is the most I'd ever weighed. And then I ended up dropping a lot of it just because I was working and I didn't go to the gym anymore. And then I got out of a 3-year relationship, and I was just really depressed at the time. And I just started going to the gym just for my own sake, and it helped me a lot because I was working out, and at the time I was delivering pizza. And then so I was commuting from our small town all the way to another city, which was about an hour-long commute. But it was because one of my friends from my other school I went to freshman and sophomore year worked there. And it was just an easy job, and he got really good tip money. And I would go to the gym, work out for an hour, go deliver pizzas for 5 or 6 hours, and then I'd go back to the gym, work out again, shower there, and then get home at like midnight. And then I'd repeat the same thing the next day. And I was working out so much, and then like I'd always bring earbuds because like listening to music always helped me. Like even like in the weight room, like in high school for football, listening to music always helped me so much. I know some people think it's cheating, but if I don't have music, it's really hard for me to work out.
Wait, really? You've heard people say it's cheating to listen to music
Yeah,
while working out?
it's on an episode of Joe Rogan. Yeah, Joe Rogan straight up said he thinks.
Oh, really?
It's cheating if you listen to music. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which,
I
I
just
mean,
think it just makes you zone. It just makes you get into the zone. Like it just makes you zone in more into your workout. And I mean, I don't see how it's cheating because you're essentially working harder. Like that's the kind of what the point is.
Yeah, and then I have a lot of respect for the people who can work out without headphones. I feel like they're insane.
I just feel like if you're working out without headphones, it's like, damn, you must be going through it right now.
Yeah,
Mad props.
absolutely.
I mean, I think that used to be my case. In strength training. I think we always had music playing anyway from the CDs they had, or no, there was someone would
only
plug in their
wanted
phone.
like 80s music. Yeah,
Yeah.
can never play rap.
2000s rock music,
Linkin Park.
Or I was thinking like Disturbed, what's another one? Is Bad Company, was that one of them? Or
By Five Finger Death Punch.
Five Finger Death Punch, yeah, that's what.
And there were always those kids that would like come into the strength training class not to work out but just to listen to the music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is real good.
Yeah, I've always admired physical fitness, and I've always wanted to be like more physical than I actually always has been. I wasn't like a string being in high school.
I was,
but like I didn't have a lot of strength. I have a lot of fat in my body. I have way more fat than I do now than I did in high school, and like my face has gotten around and stuff. And so like I've always been self-conscious about the way I've looked, especially my gut. Like I have like a beer gut basically, and it's not from drinking beer. I just always had it. but yes, that's just one thing that's always been self-conscious, which is why I had such a consistent, harder workout routine while I was in college. Because I just was, I don't know, it was just so, I just really wanted to like physically change my body. And of course, now that I'm back here at my parents', I don't really have a gym to go to anymore. Obviously, I know some people who could probably give me the key to the gym or to the strength training room in the high school, but I don't want to do that because, high schoolers use that. And, and also, I think the reservation has a gym now, but I don't know if I'm allowed to go there.
Are you native?
Exactly, I'm not. So, you were the other day you were wondering if we could go to the open gym they had there. Would we even be allowed to get into it?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure we would have though, because like we got some friends that would like
and
to.
So either way, yeah, if I wanted to go to a gym, I'd have to go down below, right? And that's like a little too far for me to do that. And yeah, I don't know. I need to find like a gym that that I can use every day, because that's actually, it's funny because today's Monday, right? Because you, Max, you were supposed to stay with another mutual friend of ours, or that was your original plan anyway.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be somewhere else, and
I was supposed to be gone by now.
like literally, I actually planned on getting up today and working out, but I'm just like, well, Max is here, you know. I don't know if I should want to do that. I don't know. No, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's I'll just wait till January 1st, like everybody else. No, but like that's actually something I want to bring up right away is New Year's resolutions. First of all, if you want to do something with your life, if you want to change something to make yourself better, whether that's working out or I don't know, making more time for friends and family and stuff like that, do it now. Don't wait until the new year to do it. Like that is a terrible mindset to like push the date back to start something. Do it now. Like there is no reason why you should wait to do something you really want to do. Like if you really want to do it, you would start it now instead of wait. And it shows, and that's why you see in January why gym membership fees go up so much, because people's New Year resolution is always to work out more. If you just wait until like the new year, then that tells me that you're not taking it as seriously as you should.
No.
But for other topics that we want to talk about today, I really want to talk about NFL refs because so I am like I'm not like
joke.
I'm not like infuriated with them. I'm not like the kind of person who thinks their pay should get cut because of like certain calls or calls they don't make. My thing is like especially as a Seahawks fan, and even watching that Browns and Packers game on Christmas Day, even though even though Baker Mayfield threw really bad interceptions beforehand, there was some pretty obvious PIs that should be called with pass interference calls, and like the one with the Seahawks against, was it the Rams?
Yeah,
it was against the Rams.
The one with DK Metcalf.
Yeah, no, Everett. It was the very end of the game. Yeah, with Everett. And then there was of course the Browns and Packers game on Christmas Day. Even though the Browns could have had the game tied up because of their kicker missing that first extra point, but also Baker Mayfield threw some pretty bad interceptions. But at the very end, the last interception of the game, that defender clearly basically tripped over the receiver and was able to catch the ball. It was pretty obvious, and the refs didn't do anything about it. So I don't know how you guys have been staying up to date with actually watching NFL games, but since halfway through this season, I've noticed that the refs have either been making really bad penalty calls, or they just won't call blatant ones that were pretty obvious to the naked eye. And so I don't know. I would just like to hear you guys think about it, because for me, I'm just a little irritated by it. And of course, this isn't like just towards the Seahawks, because I do love the Seahawks. It's towards just the overall NFL in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the Seahawks and Rams game, so I was talking about it earlier, how I got a Stephon Diggs Funko Pop for Christmas. I'm a big Bills fan. They're my AFC team, but I've always grown up being a Seahawks fan. It's just I have a lot of family members who are Bills fans, so they're like my second team. But when they play each other, I root for Seattle. But like back to the Seattle and Rams game, I mean, going into it, I knew the Rams were a better overall team. I didn't expect the Seahawks to win that game, but it was 10-10 at halftime. Like, okay, we're doing something here. And the Rams were up 17-10. I can't remember if there was 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but it was that play where I think DJ Dallas, one of their running backs, I can't remember if he was in the slot or if he ran a wheel route because he was in the backfield. And I remember they threw it to him, and the defender ran into him. It was clear PI, super clear PI. It reminded me of the 2018-2019 NFC Championship game with the Rams and the Saints, when that cornerback for the Rams ran into the Saints defender and they didn't call PI, and the Rams ended up winning the game in OT. That game was a huge no call. It was like one of the worst no calls I've ever seen. But somebody ran into DJ Dallas and it didn't even get called. And then DJ Dallas got mad and kicked the football when it was on the ground. He shouldn't have done that, but he does that. And then there's an unsportsmanlike conduct, and then we get sent back even farther. We get sent back.
I mean, to be fair, it was acceptable for him to kick that ball. That was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I understand why he was frustrated.
Yeah.
But that was just a bad no call. I mean, Seahawks have been screwed over by refs before in the past. So I mean, the more I look at it, especially, and then at the end of the game, at the end of the game, whenever there was the no holding call on DK and Taylor Rapp made that pick that pretty much sealed the game. Going to that game, I did not expect us to win that, but it's just the fact that we had a chance, and there was I hate blaming the game on refs, but the refs totally fucked us over.
Yeah. I feel like there's just no accountability for bad calls like that whatsoever.
And I know there used to be a thing. I think it was last season. Wasn't there a thing where either plays were like reviewable, or you could
You can
challenge.
challenge PI
Yeah,
calls. That was in 2019. Yeah.
yeah, but obviously that didn't last very long, and so they got rid of it because there were some like issues with that whole new system. But yeah, with these refs, I don't know how often it is that new refs come into the NFL league. Like I don't, because obviously I've been watching NFL for years now, and you pretty much always see the same refs, and it's only a matter of time. Like new refs will come into the picture, which there have been. And another thing, I think NFL refs, they actually stick together like as a pack. Like they don't mix and match them. They're always like there's always like a group of refs that coach certain games. You know what I'm saying? Like they I don't know how, like they just have. It's always the same group of refs. Like they kind of always stick together, and maybe they'll substitute if one of them's sick or can't make it or whatever the case may be. I don't really know how it goes, honestly. Either way,
I feel like they mix and match them because I know I don't remember any of their names, but I know I think there's a regular like umpire dude, and then there's like a sideline ref. There's like a group. I can't remember if there's like 4 or 5, however many there are. But every time I watch a game, it seems like there's always 1 or 2 I recognize, and there's other ones I don't recognize. I remember it was a big deal a couple years ago whenever they had like the first female ref, and I don't know if there's more than one now. But I feel like I don't know if they have like the same group of people for different games, but I feel like they mix them. I don't know. That's a good question. I've never thought about that before, actually. There's always ones I recognize, not by their names necessarily, but by their faces. And yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I've never really thought about that before. I mean, I've always thought they were mix and match, but maybe not.
yeah, I don't know. Do you know, Max, if they're?
I think they have crews, right? It's usually the
Yeah.
refs like have a crew that they stick together with.
Yeah, and I wonder if it changes each season. Like, is it the same crew every season until
Yeah,
like one of
I
them
don't know.
retires? Yeah, I don't know either. But I guess moving on from the NFL here. Well, actually, you know what? Tristan, I know you and I before we even started our podcast, we wanted to do NFL predictions. But I guess like instead of, because obviously it's been pretty difficult to do that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think what do you guys picture the playoffs are going to look like? Like, who do you think is going to be in like the AFC or NFC championship, or who do you think is going to be a good contender for a Super Bowl? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on all that?
Okay, so now since the Seahawks are out, there's no way it's gonna happen. What I think would be funny, it's not what it was a huge win for the Bills yesterday to beat the Patriots. It was basically a revenge game for them. But honestly, I think it would be hilarious if the Patriots and the Buccaneers played in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Because,
I feel like
yeah.
that would be the best Super Bowl matchup, just because like the amount of storylines that would come. from
Oh
that game.
yeah.
I mean,
And of course, the Bucks winning it, of course, 2 times, not only 2 times in a row, but Brady. It's Tom Brady, because he was a huge face for the Patriots for a long time. And so, of course, now he doesn't play for the Patriots anymore. Yeah, that would be really interesting. And I hope, I know a lot of people say that the NFL's rigged, and so the refs try and, change outcomes of games so they can maybe have those 2 teams make it to the Super Bowl, make it, this big deal. I mean, I don't know if I believe that. That's just, that seems pretty far-fetched out there. I mean, these are players we're talking about. So these guys are competitive. They want to win. You can't, I really don't, it's hard for me to believe that refs are trying to change outcomes of games. But yeah, I totally agree. Patriots and Bucks, I think, will definitely make a really interesting Super Bowl. I think Green Bay has a really good chance, honestly. I think they can definitely pull it off.
I would like to see Green Bay and the Chiefs, honestly, in the Super Bowl.
That would
I
be
think
cool.
That would be also a really good matchup.
But I think the Chiefs are in this cursed state right now where they lost their last Super Bowl pretty
Yeah, but
badly.
also I think they were 3-4, and they've won I think 8 in a row. They've been on a hot. I remember people were doubting him, especially with all the Jackson Mahomes stuff. They're like, oh, he's ruining Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm a Jackson Mahomes fan, but I remember looking at that and going the Chiefs are too good to not bounce back. And ever since then, they've just been on a roll, and they clinched their division. And as of now, they have the top spot. So if they keep it up, they'll have a first round bye.
Yeah, that's true. And other teams, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I obviously, as a Seahawks fan, I've been pretty spoiled with how good the Seahawks have been in the past. and seeing how this season has turned out is pretty disappointing. In all honesty, I mean, it was the first losing season since 2011. So,
when Tavares Jackson, rest in peace, was our quarterback.
Yeah, and of course, this was Russell Wilson's first time ever having a losing season, if I'm not mistaken. And so I personally think Seahawks have really good players, even on the offense. I mean, DK Metcalf is like the fastest person in the entire league. You know, they definitely have.
For his size, he's the fastest.
I mean, like obviously, you know, as you can tell, my NFL knowledge isn't super great, but either way, DK is a fast guy. Like, there's no debating that.
Absolutely.
And having him on offense as a receiver or whatever position he plays, I know I feel terrible for that. He's a receiver, isn't he? He plays receiver.
No, he's a quarterback.
Yeah. DK's a quarterback.
He's actually the head coach. Yeah.
He's the head coach. Yeah. But anyway, my point is, Seahawks have good players. Russell Wilson, DK, Penny is a pretty good player.
Tyler
Lockett's amazing.
So underrated.
And like their offense, I feel like can be so much better. They just don't know how to utilize their players. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, like I love Pete Carroll. He's done so much for the team and the city as a whole. But like I feel like it's time to let him go.
He's
old.
Damn, Pete retired. You got a wife. You got millions.
I'll always, I'll remember him for bringing our only Super Bowl to Seattle. Like, I'll never forget that. But like, as a locker room guy, I get why everybody likes him. He's always positive and upbeat. But it seems like he just sounds like a broken record at this point. And I feel like when it comes to X's and O's, he doesn't. I don't agree with a lot of his stuff.
With
his hugs and kisses. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's not very good at his hugs and kisses.
Tom Brady is with his kids.
Yeah, I know he just wants to run the ball a lot, and I get it. I'll like, especially like whenever I know Chris Carson's out for the year, but whenever Chris Carson's healthy, there was some sort of statistic. I can't remember what it is, but our record is significantly better whenever Chris Carson's in the backfield because it takes a lot of pressure off Russell. But I mean, at the same time, let Russ cook is a slogan for a reason. We can't just run the ball all the time when you have an elite quarterback under center with two really good receivers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Obviously, I think a lot of Seahawks fans want Pete to be gone. He had his time, and I think it's time Seahawks do go into a different direction.
No, defensive coordinator Ken Norton needs to go. Our defense has been a joke for years. I'm tired of people trying to defend him.
I mean, obviously they're never going to be good as the Legion of Boom. Or really any NFL team will probably never be as good as the Legion of Boom. Like we were so lucky to have that.
We really were.
But I would argue the defense is okay for what it is. Like, they're not terrible. Like, you look at the score of the Seahawks games, they don't lose by like a huge amount of points. The defense
pretty sure we're 30th in the league in passing defense.
That's true. Their passing defense is awful, 100%. I could definitely agree with that. But you look at the NFL, and it seems like a lot of the approach for these teams is not defense. I feel like it's always offensive driven most of the time. I just think there's something about defensive players, and of course it depends on like who's coming into the league from college, and all that kind of stuff. Which I don't really pay attention to the draft at all. I'll be honest. Like, that's not something I'm like too interested in. Like, obviously with like Trevor
draft
Lawrence,
is my favorite time of the year.
Trevor Lawrence obviously was a huge deal, so I kind of paid attention to that a little bit. But either way. Seahawks, they suck. The things need to change.
Yeah. And then looking at the current playoff spot, I'm curious. So this is in the AFC. Chiefs have the first seed. Titans have the second seed. Bengals have the third. Bills have the fourth. Colts have the fifth. Patriots have the sixth. And then the Ravens have the seventh. And then on the bubble, the teams that could make it in are the Chargers, the Raiders, Dolphins, Steelers, Browns, and there's a couple other ones, but the ones that I think have the best chance of breaking the bubble and getting in are the Dolphins and the Chargers, even though they just lost. That was a huge upset too. They lost to the fucking Texans.
Yeah, that's right.
The Dolphins I believe they're 1-7. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 5 or 6 in a row. They've been on a roll, and they play the Saints tonight.
Yeah.
And like I don't,
they have a winning season so far, don't they? The Miami Dolphins.
They're 7-7. They're 500. Yeah, but even then, they're 1-7, and they've won 6 in a row. And Jalen Waddle's helped me a lot in fantasy football. He's done really well. He's a good rookie. He's out of Alabama, and then Tua, their quarterback's also from Alabama, and they reunited them together. And like I definitely would not consider myself a Dolphins fan, considering I like the Bills and they're in the same division. But at the same time, it's cool watching a team who's been historically bad over the past like decade or so. Like they made the playoffs in 2016. There's been a couple of years where they're meh, but it's cool watching teams like that start to turn it around and start to show some sort of hope. And I think it'd be cool to watch them make the playoffs. I mean, like the Ravens, I was rooting for them because I had Lamar Jackson as my quarterback in fantasy, and they just got embarrassed by the Bengals. Joe Burrow had 525 yards. And speaking of teams who haven't been doing well that are doing well now, the Bengals, they've been so much fun to watch.
I would love to see the Bengals make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I want them to just win a game in the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game since I think 1990.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then the Browns were another team that I was hoping to be kind of up and coming. Last season I think they did a tremendous job getting finally to the playoffs, and now this year
and winning a game.
And then like freaking, oh my gosh, Baker Mayfield throwing those bunches of interceptions and
4 picks. Yeah.
Gosh, like they're definitely struggling this season. They need to figure something out. But we're getting close to the end of the podcast here. We have like at least 5 more minutes. I know there was a topic you wanted to ask Max, Tristan, and I don't know if you remember it, but I mean, if you look at the Discord chat, you'll see.
Yeah, no, I remember. So we're gonna talk about Call of Duty Zombies. That's something that we always talk about. And then I know you got past around 100 in Revelations.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask
112.
you 112. Jeez. I want to know what your secret was and if you had any sort of strategies.
Well, obviously you got to get all the wonder weapons in that map. Honestly, the biggest secret I had was I didn't do it in one sitting. So like I would play for like 4 hours and I'd get really tired, so I just pause it and leave and hope that my Xbox didn't crash.
Yeah.
But you have to be like super focused on like everything that's happening when you're training zombies. Because like one little mess up and it's like, oh boy, this is bad. And and that's like an 8-hour game gone down the drain.
Yeah. And you're the kind of person who like I know when you play zombies, like when you die, you just restart. Like,
I do. Like I don't even try to revive. I would just quit the game.
Yeah.
As soon as I went down.
Well, Tristan, have you ever reached round 100 in any zombies map?
No, my highest ever round isn't Buried, and that's just because of how easy that map is. It was actually during
Paralyzer.
It was during quarantine. It was like the first, because I was in quarantine for 2 months, and it was like the first month, like once like you could actually like go outside, you just always had to wear a mask. I was hanging out with Carter, our guest on our previous episode. We were hanging out playing Buried, and like we got to round 42. And then the game stopped. Like the Black Ops 2 closed, and we had to restart it. But like we were doing so well too. We were hanging out in the alley where Jug is, and we'd like build the trample steam, the saw, whatever that was called, and then like the stub and the turbine. And we would just every round we just go get a new one. And then we had the wall buy for the A94 in front of us, in like front of the saloon area, and we just refill ammo at the end of every round. I love that map. That map's just so easy. But like on my own, my best ever is in Dreisendrach, and that was round 41. And that was also because I had the bow. And then that's a good segue into in Origins. I remember you got up to a really high round whenever Zombies Chronicles came out, and you didn't even have staff, right?
Yeah, I made it round 72. This was the first day Zombie Chronicles came out. I said I want to high round Origins because I remember playing Origins in Black Ops 2.
That's my favorite map.
Yeah. So day 1 got round 72, and I think at the time, it doesn't stand anymore because it's been, like 5 years since then. But at the time, that was good enough to be like top 500 in the world at the time.
Wow.
It only stood for like 2 days, but then, people started getting better strategies and playing better.
I also the Zombie Chronicle maps, even though they're just basically just remastered maps from previous zombie games for Call of Duty, but the thing about Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles is that you got Gobblegum on those maps.
Yeah, it was so much easier.
So now you make it so much. You have cash. What was it called? Cashback. Yeah. You can get max ammos easily. Perkaholic, obviously. Shopping free, so you can, like, especially on Origins. Like I remember Origins was really difficult to open up the entire map because of how many different barriers you need to open up. So shopping free was extremely helpful on that map.
Oh yeah. But and the thing is with Origins, like if you really knew the map, like if you played it enough, you didn't even need Perkaholic, because once you dug enough grave sites and got the golden shovel and you got a zombie blood, you could find a red dig site and you dig that up and get a free perk slot. And if you did that enough, you could get every perk in the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
With Wonder Fizz, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a lot
nice.
I totally forgot about the red piles that you could dig up. Or in the golden shovel. God, there's like so many unique things. And of course, you look at zombies now. You can't even pause in solo zombies for Vanguard. Like,
Stupid.
what is up with that?
I haven't played Vanguard Zombies, but that sounds terrible.
And like of course my internet's terrible, but like if I'm uploading a video and I just want to play zombies and like, you know, not play any multiplayer games because I know my internet's slowing down from a YouTube video getting uploaded, the thing is, like, zombies relies on your internet now, and it's just like you will literally lag and have a bunch of packet bursts while playing zombies, and it's like that was never, like, if you go back to Black Ops Cold War, the previous Call of Duty game, you could be uploading a video, everybody could be hogging up the internet, and you could still play zombies and have a really smooth experience playing solo, by the way, and it never be lagging, and like, because pretty much what it's doing is that you're playing a single player mode, but the only thing that online is tracking is like challenges and just numbers, basically. It's like super easy, but for some reason in Vanguard Zombies, it's like this totally different approach where it's not tracking just numbers. It likes actually trying to create a server for you, which I think is so weird. I don't know. Zombies has really gone downhill. Hopefully they can improve it to make it a little bit better, but Vanguard Zombies, what a huge disappointment that was. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
So easy.
And so actually we are pretty much a little over an hour into this podcast, but one thing we forgot to do is our sponsor.
Oh, I did not forget. Don't worry. I was just about to get into it.
Okay, cool.
You know, are you tired of playing on JV and not getting any of the chicks? Well, look, no, then don't look. God damn it. So, are you tired? Are you tired of being on JV and not getting any pussy? Well, you can be on Varsity. Varsity Pizza. Use promo code TheLanding to get 10% off your next purchase.
Shout out to Varsity Pizza.
Yeah, shout out to the Varsity Pizza.
Sponsoring us.
That is awesome. So anyway, that will conclude it for today's episode, number 3 of The Landing. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast, Max. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully sometime in the future we can get you on again, whenever that might be. But I have nothing really else to say. Make sure, do you want anybody to follow you on any socials at all?
No,
yeah, plug
don't
whatever
find
you got to
me.
plug.
Okay,
Don't find me.
All right, so don't follow him on socials.
I'm
everybody.
a ghost.
Yeah, don't follow him on anywhere. So, but if you guys do want to stay up to date with the Landing Podcast, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, the Spartacus 200. Maybe a name change in the future. Who knows? It's still gonna have Spartacus anyway. So yeah. Pretty much stay tuned for future episodes every single Friday. When it comes to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, that's to be determined. Who knows when that's going to happen. And that's all I got to say. Got any other last words, guys?
And also don't be afraid to leave any critiques in the comments. Say whatever you got to say about us, as long as you tell us how amazing we are.
Yeah, please leave a comment.
Yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. And
if you have any active moms, don't be afraid to DM Max and give them his
please.
phone number.
Oh yeah, don't follow him on socials though. Just DM him.
Unless you're a hot mom.
Yeah, okay. And that's going to conclude the podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.
See you guys.